Okay, welcome to part 2 of the introductory video for English 101. I now want to spend a brief amount of time going over with you the major assignments for this class. So this class has 4 major papers, each of which become progressively more involved and complex. This class also has 2 exams, a presentation, and various discussion forum and response papers that you will be doing through Canvas. So the first paper, as I mentioned briefly in part 1, is the personal knowledge essay, and that is actually something that I'm going to talk about in some detail, since you will be actually looking at this prompt tomorrow. This is an essay through which you pick something that you are an expert in, and you certainly are an expert in something, everybody is, and you basically tell us about it. So I'm going to do a short video on this essay separately. Then the next paper is the career research essay, which does exactly what it says. You will be picking a prospective career, and you will be doing research on it. So you will be writing this essay as if you were doing research for a potential employer. So how you're writing the career research essay will be very different from how you're writing the personal knowledge essay. Then the third paper will be a film analysis essay. And this one is very challenging for a lot of students, because you will be asked to choose a film and analyze it. So you will be picking aspects of this film to discuss and create a thesis about it. So you will be talking about maybe what you think a film means. You can talk about characters. You can talk about how the film is shot, etc., etc. And this we'll be talking about in much more detail with this essay. And as you see in the course syllabus, there will be plenty of time dedicated to this essay. And the fourth major essay is a persuasive proposal essay that has 2 parts. One, you'll be choosing a particular kind of text to look at, either a television show episode, a music video, or an advertisement. And when you look at that particular kind of text, you will be looking at and searching for a particular social, political, etc. issue to propose a solution to. And again, we'll get into more detail about that as we progress. Again, there are two exams, a midterm and a final, which cover different parts of the textbook and essentially go over your internalization of various key terms. And finally, you'll be expected to post discussion forums and response papers, and each of those will be worth 20 points. And you'll be doing the first of these forums response papers for next week. Okay. So again, I'm just going over all this stuff with you briefly. We can certainly talk about these in more detail as we progress. So I want to then move on to a brief discussion of kind of the main purpose of this course is critical thinking and writing. And so there are a couple of major components that you need to learn how to find, discuss, and analyze. That is, you'll be looking at a text, a specific text, and a text can be a movie, a television show, your textbook. This class is a text. Essentially, any sort of thing that you can analyze for meaning is a text. And every text has a context. That is, where did this text come from? And so the basics of this context are 3. So you will be talking about purpose. So why was this text created? Audience, for whom was this text created? So who was this text designed to address? And finally, genre, or what type of text is it? I said, is it a movie? Is it a poem? Is it an academic article? That sort of thing. So you have to become very familiar with all three of these aspects of the context if you want to understand how this text works. And of course, in addition, and we'll be focusing on this next week, is the writing process. Now, everyone, of course, has a different process for which they write. And in next week's video, I'm going to at least talk to you about sort of my own writing process, which will be very different theoretically from yours. I'm an experienced writer. I was in graduate school for over a decade. I have 2 master's degrees, as well as an undergraduate degree, and I completed all of my PhD coursework. So needless to say, I have written a lot of stuff. So I'm pretty familiar with the way my brain works and sort of how my writing process varies from different kinds of assignments. And that's also one of the most important things that you will learn, is that the writing process does change depending on the nature of the assignment. And so we'll get into more detail about that for next week. So I do want to then spend a short amount of time going over with you in some detail the first paper that you will be writing for the class. Okay, so this first paper is what I call the personal knowledge essay. And this paper will be due on September 1st, so it's coming up relatively quickly. So as I mentioned in the first video, in this paper you are to choose some subject that you are very knowledgeable in. And it can vary widely from where you work. If you know beadworking or any kind of other art or craft or music, so you take this particular subject that you are an expert on, and you write to us about how this is important to you, how you know what you know, and give us an overview of sort of the most important aspects of this topic. And an important part of this paper is that you are writing this as if your audience does not know anything about this topic. And sometimes that is a difficult thing to be able to do. One thing that's important to note is that this is not simply a narrative essay. So this is not your typical personal narrative. This is, you are taking this opportunity to teach us about your expertise. You are the subject matter expert. Also, please note that this paper is not simply a demonstration speech in written form. So you're not just giving us a step-by-step instructions on something. You can certainly give us some instructions, but this is an exercise in you being able to focus on a very broad topic and giving your audience what you think is the most important information about your topic. So I would like you to, tell me what your topics are within the next week or so, and please also note that you need to be as specific as possible, because in past semesters students have talked about parenthood, and that is an extraordinarily broad topic, and you really can't cover it in a 3-page paper. Now, if you wanted to talk about, say, specific aspects of parenthood, so how do you get your kids to do homework, or how do you discipline them, or that sort of thing, you can certainly do that, but you need to make sure that your topic is very specific. And again, everyone is an expert at something, and certainly if you are having issues finding a topic, again, please let me know. And so you can look at the prompt for the formatting, and the points and the rubric. So this paper is worth a total of 50 points. You'll be graded, as you will see, on the length and the formatting, as well as the grammar and technical stuff. But of course, the most important aspects of the grade that you will earn will be in the organization, etc. And this is something that I can definitely go over with you in more detail during my office hours if you so choose. Okay, so we are a little past time on this video. So again, if you have any questions about what I've gone over, and this is a very brief overview of this class. So this is kind of what I would do in the classroom. I'd sort of do this preliminary lecture, and then open things up for questions. Okay, so I do then want to briefly go over with you what we will be doing next week. And I apologize for the clicking around a bit. Okay, so next week we will be reading chapters 1 through 4 in your textbooks. So again, I understand that not everybody has their textbooks yet, and if you do have issues getting them, please let me know as soon as possible. You will be also reading a short article on basic note-taking skills. And your work that's due next week are your responses to Last Rites for Indian Dead. Again, the instructions for that response are in the posts. I will also be having you do some exercises in regards to chapter 4, which is about observation and details. So you will see in the module for week 2 all of those entries. So I hope these videos were at least edifying and relatively coherent. I hope to get better at them as the semester goes along. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you on Tuesday.